and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, let's talk some boxing. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about Canelo Alvarez right at this point in time. Saul Canelo Alvarez. There's something about him that allows him to be steps ahead in the game, ahead of everybody else in the game right now. He really has a heads up on everybody. Now, Canelo Alvarez, I was just looking at him via Boxing Ego. Shout out to Boxing Ego. I love your stuff, man. Keep doing what you're doing. And he was talking about Canelo stunting on people, showing his cars and stuff, and that's cool. But what I really want to show you guys right now is something that Canelo has in common with Floyd Mayweather. Canelo right now did something that Floyd Mayweather Jr. has done, especially at the latter end of his career. Mayweather held titles in 2 divisions. And guess what? Canelo Alvarez also has done the same. If you look right here in the junior welterweight division, Canelo is in the junior welterweight division, and currently right now he is the WBO junior middleweight champion. Not junior welterweight, I keep on making that mistake. Junior middleweight, okay? You see it right here. He's the WBO junior middleweight champion. He won it from Liam Smith, okay? But he's also the Ring Magazine's linear middleweight champion. He won that middleweight title versus Miguel Cotto. Now, in the junior welterweight division, which is what we're looking at right now, there is no lineal champion, okay? But what's very interesting is this. Canelo Alvarez fought 3 of the top junior middleweight fighters in the world at the present moment. He beat Austin Trout. He beat Miguel Cotto. That was at middleweight. He was a middleweight champion as well. He beat Erislandy Lara. But he has not faced Jermell Charlo, both of who are world champions right now, and Demetrius Andrade, who is former world champion, who was stripped. Yeah, the belt Jermell Charlo has, Demetrius Andrade had. Okay? And what's very interesting is, of these fighters, he fought Austin Trout, who was undefeated at the time and had just beaten Miguel Cotto. And even more interesting is the fact that I think Jermell Charlo beat Austin Trout, and so did Erislandy Lara. So I would like to see him face those 3 guys, Jermell, and Demetrius Andrade. Even though I must say that the more experienced fighters he already faced Erislandy Lara, who's a hell of a lot more experienced than any of those guys. He faced Miguel Cotto, who was light years more experienced and a pay-per-view star. And he also faced Austin Trout, who is more experienced in terms of the fight game than Jermell Charlo. I think he faced Jermell Charlo and was beaten by him. Demetrius Andrade didn't face him. Now, Demetrius Andrade is undefeated, and so is the other 2 guys that we just talked about. But they're not as prominent, 1. 2, they're also not as experienced, except for Demetrius Andrade. He's probably as experienced as Austin Trout, but other than that, he's not more experienced than Erislandy Lara or Cotto than the other guys that Canelo faced. But like I said, the intriguing thing is that Canelo Alvarez is also a middleweight champion. He is the middleweight champion. He's the lineal middleweight champion because he beat Miguel Cotto. So as you can see, he has his 2nd title here. Now, I don't think there's anybody else in the sport of boxing that not only is a pay-per-view star, not only holds 2 titles in 2 weight divisions, but also, in addition to that, fought most of the premier boxers in each division. Okay? You have to think about what I'm saying. Canelo fought the lineal champion at middleweight. He then fought the best junior middleweight in the world at the time in Erislandy Lara. He also faced Austin Trout, who at the time was the best junior middleweight in the world when he beat Miguel Cotto. So he had that status, even though he didn't have a lot of experience. Erislandy Lara had a lot of experience, and that was really a good win for Canelo. My point being that Canelo fought the top junior welterweights in the world, and then he fought 1 of the top junior middleweights in the world. Now, very interestingly enough, when you look at Canelo and he stacks up to the middleweight division, it's a little bit different. Okay, the middleweight division, I think Gennady Golovkin is picking a really good fight to fight here. He's going to face Daniel Jacobs. Daniel Jacobs beat Peter Quillin, Sergey, I forgot his surname right now. It'll come to me, the Latin snake, Sergey Mora, and a number of other really good middleweights. And Danny Jacobs is a career middleweight like Gennady Golovkin. So this is really a bona fide, really good matchup. Golovkin really picked a really good opponent for the first time. I got to give him his props. Since David Lemieux, and David Lemieux is nowhere on the level of a Danny Jacobs, but since David Lemieux, this is his second really credible opponent. So props to Gennady Golovkin on that. If he gets the win over Danny Jacobs, kudos to him. But it's not going to be an easy fight at all for Golovkin. And he's going to learn that really fast. And can Golovkin be stopped by Danny Jacobs? We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. He's tough. But, you know, there's always a first time. I remember Costa Tszyu was beaten by Vince Phillips. You know, that's all I got to say about that. I'm not going to say no more. Now, so my point anyway, I'm focusing on Canelo. And I'm showing you that Canelo, he's a guy who's heads up ahead of everybody else because he has junior middleweight titles. He has middleweight titles. Now he's going to face Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in a very lucrative match. Two Mexicans going at each other. One having a really famous name and the other one and very tough. And the other one is a pay-per-view star. So that pay-per-view is going to make real serious money. Canelo, again, steps ahead of everybody else, going the Floyd Mayweather Jr. route. Not just looking for premier people to fight, but also looking for that big, big payday. And he's definitely going to do well in this pay-per-view. Even though Julio Cesar Chavez is not thought of on the level of a Canelo in terms of boxing skill, got stopped by Fonfora. Canelo is not as big as Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And so Chavez is going to be the bigger dude in there. And that's never a good thing for the other guy who's a good boxer. Usually Chavez will impose his will as the fight goes on. Even though he was outboxed by Sergio Martinez. I mean, he caught Sergio Martinez and dropped him. Now, I haven't seen Canelo ever get dropped. Never seen him get dropped. I don't think Canelo's ever been dropped in his career. So this is an interesting fight for the fact that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he's tough. He's strong. I mean, the only guy that ever stopped him was a guy bigger and stronger than him. So can Canelo outbox this dude? And if he can handle Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., then probably he can handle Gennady Golovkin. So we'll see. I think Canelo's light years a better boxer than Julio Cesar Chavez will ever be. So it should be an interesting matchup to see how Canelo handles Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Of course, I picked Canelo to win that fight, even though Chavez Jr. is going to be bigger, stronger than Canelo. It's just what it is. He's going to come in bigger and stronger than Canelo. So it's an interesting fight, I'm going to say, one time. It's going to be very interesting. I do believe Canelo's going to win that fight, but I don't think he's going to stop Chavez Jr. I don't think that's happening at all. But he's definitely going to beat him up. Or beat him. I don't know how much he'll beat him up. I don't think Chavez Jr. has that great a defense. So, but he's tough. So it should be an interesting fight. Of course, I picked Canelo to win that fight. End of story. I really want to see Canelo versus Gennady Golovkin. I think that's going to be Canelo's breakout fight. This fight's a money fight with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., but Golovkin is the fight I want to see. But if Golovkin gets beat by Daniel Jacobs, if he gets beaten by Daniel Jacobs, then, you know, it won't be that great a fight anymore. It'll be like, you know, I don't know where Canelo would go. I think he should have taken the fight with Golovkin before. He didn't. So Daniel Jacobs is getting that fight. So if Daniel Jacobs sparks out, you know, he knocks out Golovkin or beats him up and beats him, Canelo has nowhere to go. Because Golovkin was really the platform for Canelo to really explode big time. And now he won't have nowhere to go. I mean, Daniel Jacobs versus Canelo would be a good fight. I favor Jacobs in that one. Canelo versus the Charlo brothers. That would be an interesting fight. I favor the Charlo brothers in that one. So I'm just saying, right now, you know, Demetrius Andrade versus Canelo would be a good fight. I think Canelo beats Demetrius Andrade. I think Canelo, I don't think he has a chance against either Charlo brother. I'm sorry. I look at the skill sets of the Charlo brothers, and they're on another level, man. They're on another level of boxing. They're better than Arislan Lara. They're better than anybody out there. Demetrius Andrade would get beaten by either Charlo brother, I think. So those guys are the goods. I think they're the real deal. People are going to see that soon enough. I really believe the Charlo brothers have what it takes to to really dominate the sport of boxing. I would love to see them fight one another. I think that's their greatest competition. With respect to Daniel Jacobs, he's the miracle man, so don't count him out, and don't count him out from a stoppage either. But I think I give Gennady Golovkin the edge in this fight. Like I said, I'm hoping Gennady Golovkin wins that fight so that Canelo can fight Gennady Golovkin. But I mean, Daniel Jacobs can box. I don't think he has all the tools that Canelo has in terms of his defense, because it's very important. If you get caught on the ropes, what do you do? So Daniel Jacobs should know he should be able to roll some of those punches, because that's what Kell Brook was doing quite well. Of course, Gennady Golovkin upped the tempo, upped the intensity, tried to shorten the distance and get to him faster to try and get him out the game. Because if he couldn't stop, what's his name from England? If he couldn't stop Kell Brook early or hurt him early, it was going to get harder. All right. But if Daniel Jacobs can roll those punches, if he has a pretty decent defense, because see, the problem with Daniel Jacobs is we don't know how good his defense is. He still gets hit. I remember his fight with Dmitry Pirog, where his defense was not that great. So while Daniel Jacobs is a good offensive fighter, I need to see him have better defense. He squares up too much. He gets caught too easily, especially when he's on the offensive. So I don't think he can beat Gennady Golovkin hands down. I don't think Gennady Golovkin can seriously get him out of there. I think he's going to go all 12, but I think that I don't think he can seriously hurt Gennady Golovkin, or I don't think his defense is up to par enough to handle Gennady Golovkin. I could be wrong, so I hope he proves me wrong. So if he loses to Golovkin, however he loses to him, then we're looking at Canelo versus Golovkin. So we'll see, because I know Canelo has everything necessary to beat Golovkin. I know that for a fact. Billy Joe Saunders has some skill. He has some skill. I don't think Billy Joe Saunders has the pop to keep Golovkin honest, even though he did knock down Andy Lee. So I don't know. Billy Joe Saunders doesn't seem interested in fighting Golovkin at all. So I think mentally he already is afraid of Golovkin, and he's not willing to go in there and face him. So in short, Billy Joe Saunders already lost that fight. But Canelo, I don't think Canelo should have a problem. He should just go in there and fight Golovkin. I don't think he knocks out Golovkin. But I do believe he outboxes Golovkin hands down, because I know his game. I know Canelo's game. I've seen Golovkin's game, and I know Canelo's game. And I just don't think Golovkin has what it takes to knock out Canelo. And if he can't knock out Canelo, he's going to lose that fight easily. So that's just my opinion. I don't know. We'll see. But the interesting thing about Canelo Alvarez is that, again, it has these 2 championships in 2 weight classes. I'm still yet to see him really handle the middleweight championship and really, as a true lineal champion, face Gennady Golovkin. He needs to do that. Or he needs to step up and fight one of those guys, the Charlo brothers, Demetrius Andrade, any one of those 3. He needs to step up and do something really significant now. Julio Cesar Chavez, that's a good money fight, but it's really a fight that he can win. We want one now, that it's a name. Julio Cesar Chavez was a former world champion, all of that, but we really want to now see Canelo versus one of these middleweights here, or one of the junior middleweights that are still there. So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. You guys have a great one.